I didn't click right? Got Facebook going. You are looking live here in DNA HQ here in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. On today's episode, we have...
Let's talk about the new offensive coordinator for the University of Utah, Kevin McGivern.
The Oklahoma City Thunder does the Jazz dirty.
And can Shohei Ohtani win a Cy Young award?
All that and more. My name is Darren. That is AJ. And this is an episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
How's it going, AJ?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
I am living the dream here in sunny Salt Lake City, Utah. It's beautiful, man. Happy. Finally, we have snow here in Utah.
I know it's been such a weird year.
Not so sunny.
Dude.
Not so
Yeah.
sunny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a fantastic day. We've got some snow in the valley, which was nice. Stayed off the roads for the most part. It was okay. As a reminder, folks, if you're watching this on our live stream, feel free to jump in the chat, just like we've got Aaron Henry right here jumping in saying, AJ, are you a Ute fan? I don't know.
You know the answer, Aaron. You know the answer.
Love it. Love it. Once again, folks, if you're watching this on our live stream and you want to jump in the conversation, please do. We'd love to hear from you in the chat there. So be sure to join in and let us know, first of all, where you are, what's your favorite color. AJ wants to know. And yeah.
Unless it's Michigan blue.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do we have a rivalry already? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, and Aaron's a Michigan fan.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Nice job, Aaron. Nice job. I love it. I love it. Congrats on the head coach. Love it. Love it. All right, man. Well, again, as a reminder, folks, this is a live stream. So if you want to jump in the chat, let us know what your thoughts are on what we're talking about. If you're watching this after on our podcast, either listening on the podcast or on our YouTube channel. So be sure to comment in the comments down below and let us know, what your thoughts are.
All the things. All the things. Let us
all
know
the
all
fun
the things.
things.
Yeah.
Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, smash that like button for your boy AJ. And before we get in the content, we always love to do a quick cheers. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you guys.
All right, man. So let's go ahead and jump into it, man. First, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Utes, man. Let's jump into the Utes.
Absolutely. Go Utes.
Don't know why we need to talk about that right out the gates. I can't seem to figure out what's going on.
It's what I do.
Yeah.
It's what I do.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump into the Utes now. First, what we want to talk about is with the departure of Jason Beck, who is following head coach Whittingham to Michigan. Coach Scally summons the Utah State OC, Kevin McGivern, to the Utes as the new offensive coordinator. He is a 25-year vet. He brings 17 seasons of Division I experience. Combined between offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coaching to this Utah team. Last year, as we mentioned, he was with Utah State. He served as Utah State's offensive coordinator, helping quarterback Bryson Barnes, the old pig farmer himself.
Absolutely.
Achieve 2,500 passing yards, AJ, and 700 plus rushing yards as well.
Yeah.
Another one of his previous seasons was in 2024. He was the passing games coordinator and the wide receiver coach at San Jose State, where he coached Nick Nash. He is a redshirted senior who was named first team All-American, leading the nation, AJ, in receptions, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, with 104 catches for 1,382 yards with 16 touchdowns.
That's pretty impressive.
That's a pretty good. It's a pretty good resume there. Being a coach behind these talented young players.
Yeah, no,
you love to see it.
It absolutely is. And Steve Bartle with KSL actually interviewed Bryson Barnes, and they were specifically talking about what Utah's getting with the new offensive coordinator, Kevin McGivern.
Mm-hmm.
And Bryson Barnes just absolutely ranted and raved about this guy.
Nice.
And I mean, he talked a lot about how he's like totally a jokester and he's always joking around, having fun with the guys, but this guy knows his stuff, right? So pretty cool to see, like when you start looking at his offensive philosophy. I spent probably an hour and a half just going over like game highlights from Utah State.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of trying to get an idea of what this offense is going to look like. And that's kind of what we're showing today is, what is this going to be, when the offense takes off this year. So this is a West Coast style offense. I mean, they do their big time high flying. The quarterback's going to be working through the progressions. I mean, lots of air raid principles. And this guy does a lot of personnel switching to just continuously confuse defenses. That's his whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bryson Barnes kind of described this offense as like a quarterback's best friend. He says he's got a check system in place that allows you to make changes right on the field. He gives a lot of freedom to his quarterback. So when I hear this, like this style of offense, it actually makes me think a lot of the Jason Beck offense.
Okay.
And how it's really versatile. They use every angle of the field. And the big thing about Kevin McGivern is he's going to make sure that he's utilizing his best players as much as possible, just like the Jason Beck offense did. So, this is a passing first offense. Like that's who McGivern is. It's always pass first. And the reason he does that is because he zooms in on teaching his quarterbacks how to attack certain defensive schemes. So he says, you see these guys lined up here, you've got a weak spot here because this linebacker has to go up there. Like that is his whole thing is he locks in on teaching quarterbacks how to beat defensive schemes. So it sounds like it's going to be a passing first offense. That was what I saw. These guys throw the ball a lot, but he's always going to be putting the ball into playmakers' hands. So, this is going to be really fun. And the biggest thing is this guy generates explosive plays. That's Kevin McGivern offense. He wants to get the big plays. He's going to take shots down the field. He's going to set up schemes where it might be a trick play and you're going to try to break off 60. We saw that a lot. We saw that a lot last year in the Jason Beck offense. We have good offensive line guys. We got some good ones coming back. Check out our video last week where we reviewed the whole offense. There was some offensive line talk in there. We've got some great pieces to bring back. And then you think of players who might excel in this offense. The first one for me that comes to mind is going to be Wayshawn Parker.
Okay.
I mean, if your whole goal is to put the ball in your best offensive player's hands, Wayshawn Parker is that guy. Again, we talked about it last week. He's just one of the most talented players on the field anytime he's out there. He's explosive. He's got a ton of speed. He's elusive. He can block. He can catch the ball out of the outfield. Anywhere you can put this guy, he is going to help. And I think that could lead to a really good year for Wayshawn Parker. Another player that I think could have a really good season under McGivern, my guy, Bird Ficklin, man.
Nice.
Like, he's just great speed. He has great decision making. Bird's that guy that's great at just skipping back and forth and making a good run and hitting it. So, and I mean, last but not least is going to be obviously Devin Dampier.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that. That was kind of the piece that I wanted to question there. Do you think there was a conversation with Devin Dampier regarding the recruiting process to keep him to stay here? When his offensive coordinator went to Michigan with Witt, you'd think that he would also go with him as well, but he chose to stay here. And I'm thinking that Morgan Scalley, his coaching philosophy, his coaching style is going to be a little bit more, like you mentioned, a little bit more open to the passing first type option, which we always heard, 50-50, the pass game opens up, the run game opens up the pass game, blah, 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 right? But you always knew with offense that it was never going to be pass first.
Nope.
It's going to be run heavy. It's just how it is. And then if you run into a bit of trouble, then they'll try to open it up and throw a Hail Mary pass, what it seemed to always be like.
Yeah.
In this case, what I'm thinking is that with you were talking about in the Vegas Bowl, we were starting to see a little bit more of that, right? A little bit more of the passing being an option. Do you think that was a big piece to that when Morgan Scalley became the head coach and then picked Kevin McGivern to be his offensive coordinator. Do you think that was some of the pitch that kept our guy Devin Dampier here?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely some of the pitch because, like you said, Kyle Whittingham's always run first, control the tempo of the game, get your defense off the field, chew up some clock, get these guys some time to rest defensive first. And I don't think that's going to go away. I think Scalley's always going to be a defense first coach. That's who he is. That's his DNA, right? But to answer your question, yes, guaranteed they had a conversation. And I think when Kevin McGivern was pitching this to Devin Dampier, there's very few quarterbacks in the NFL that have fantastic running seasons that last long enough to play, or that even make the NFL, let alone last long enough to play. Right. The NFL, the players are too big, too fast, too strong. Devin Dampier is not a huge guy. What he's got to showcase is his arm talent. So by bringing in a pass first, or even if it went 60-40 passing, and Devin Dampier gets a chance to throw the ball down the field more, it's going to help him a ton. It's going to help his chance at going to the league. It's going to help his, like those throwing numbers have to be pristine if you're going to be looked at in the NFL world. So I think that had a lot to do with his decision to stay, as well as like, I do think Devin Dampier does like the Morgan Scalley, like defense first, because before he came to Utah, he was talking in one of the interviews and he talked about how it would be really nice to have a defense. Not that going to Michigan, you wouldn't have that because they're some of the best players in the world, right? Like college players, you're going to have the best talent there. But I think he came to appreciate the Morgan Scalley coaching scheme and coaching against such or playing in practice against such good defenses. And I think they were always testing him. I think he looks forward to the challenge of staying here. I don't know, man. I think this is going to be such a fun season. It's going to be awesome. I mean, the more I watched Utah State tape, the more I was like, this offense is really cool. Like they do run a lot of like trick stuff. They do run a lot of like, you're always taking the defense's eyes somewhere else and then, going the other way. And I mean, Bryson Barnes, as much film as I watched, dude, he was so good last year for Utah State. They only won 6 games. But
I'm like, where is this guy? Where are this 2,500 yards when he was starting for Utah?
I'm telling you, man, he was insane last year.
That's great.
And he's always thrown a good ball, but they put the ball in his hands to run the ball and make decisions and run some, like some pitch options where he'd go out and make like RPO type plays. And Barnes picked it up really fast. And it gives me a lot of hope that, we have a quarterback that was in a very similar system last year. And as far as, using the RPO, and I think it's going to be awesome.
No, I agree. I look forward to it. It's going to be very interesting to see because, again, what we're looking for this year is not only for them to establish an identity, but do so while still competing for the conference. So love to see it. Let's go ahead and hit this comment real quick from Aaron here. This is more of a personal request from AJ there. This season's going to be an interesting one. What game we going to? That's a good question. Just make sure your boy gets invited too.
Yeah, absolutely. You
don't forget about me.
Let's pick one, man. I'll be at all of them. I got season tickets, so
nice.
You tell me which one you want to go to.
Just a humble brag right there, but that's okay. Okay, moving right along there. Let's go ahead and stay on with the Utes here. Now there was an article on SI.com about the University of Utah and its revenue generating opportunity for 2025. This article on Sports Illustrated basically stated that the Utes, while in a deficit in 2024, where they lost about $17 million, were able to bring it back to $50 million in 2025. Get a chance to see this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Utah Athletic Department as a whole posted a 4.69 profit for fiscal year 25. Football itself generated $108 million in revenue for the University of Utah, with football expenses being at $51.8 million, which means they turned roughly a $50 million profit for the Utah football program.
Slight correction, $101.8 million.
What did I say?
108.
Oh, 101.8. Sorry. Yep, I missed a 1.
You just know they're not going to let us.
My bad. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no,
you guys keep us honest down there.
Such a great point. So it's really interesting because NIL revenue sharing was something that wasn't technically allowed before the 2025 season, before fiscal year 25.
Technically.
And that, obviously it's technically, right? Like revenue sharing wasn't technically allowed. So there was $0 spent on direct NIL revenue sharing in fiscal year 25. But starting in 25 and 26, schools can share up to $20.5 million annually with athletes.
Mm-hmm.
So Utah AD Mark Harlan has already publicly announced that he plans to spend the maximum dollars allowed annually on NIL revenue dollar sharing.
You kind of have to, man. You can't go out there and say you're gonna. Oh, well, we're gonna see what we're gonna do. You're not gonna land anybody, man. That's just not how it's gonna work.
You got to. I mean, that's just it. And then obviously Utah did enter into the private equity partnership with Ocho Capital, which is expected to generate roughly $500 million, for athletics. And that's not just Utah football. That's Utah athletics overall. But once the private equity deal closes, it'll be really interesting to see how Utah uses some of this money to.
Yeah, you and I've talked about this. We're kind of on opposite sides on this one.
We are, absolutely.
I definitely think that they're going to use the money wisely, but private equity is not about losing money, man. That's just not something that they do. Fastest way to lose this money is to throw some players. That's just not a smart way to do it.
Especially when players aren't under any kind of contract.
Yeah, and you're going to have them for 1 to 2 years?
Yeah.
And then they're gone. So the best way to use this money would be to improve the facilities and do things that were more revenue generating. That's what they're going to be more interested in than versus more premium seating for the higher ticket prices, more better opportunities for you to spend money while you're at the games. That's going to be what their focus is on retaining value for the dollars that they're going to be spending, which, again, to your point that we've talked about before off air, opens up the purse strings in other spots where you were using that money for that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, which will allow those to be more revenue generating, which will allow you to use boosters' monies for.
And I think we'll see some of this money go to players.
I really hope not. Dude. That'd just be the.
I think that
$500 million is a waste of time.
And I don't know how much we'll see, right? But I think at some point, private equity has to fund some of these NIL deals. Like, if you can only revenue share $20.5 million, that's what, 4 or 5 players. I mean, Texas Tech was paying guys $9 million. Some crazy, maybe it wasn't that much. I think it was $9 million in total on 3 or 4 players, but they were putting in a lot of money to make sure that they had top talent. And look how far Texas Tech went.
Yeah, and they pushed all the chips in the middle for that. But the thing that I'm thinking of is it's not smart way to do that. They're going to use the revenue that they generated. They're going to use the money that they're getting from boosters for the NIL deals. And I think everything else that they were spending outside of that, that's where the private equity money's going to come. I could be wrong, but most of the people that I know that are in private equity don't like to lose money. And that's a fast way to lose money, is just to throw money at players.
Absolutely.
To your point, that might be something they're forced to do in the early years.
Yeah.
Until
they can get some of that preliminary stuff in place that you talked about, upgrading facilities and changing some premium seating, that kind of stuff. That stuff takes time.
Yes.
But if you can get players and teams winning, you're going to generate revenue immediately, because there's no better way to sell out a stadium than to win ball games.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
and that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about right there is the bottom line, difference between 2024 and 2025, losing versus winning season. Bottom line, winning helps. You have a more successful year as a football program. You actually have a bowl game you get to go to.
Yep.
I believe that was 12.4 million of the revenue that they generated was from that.
Yep.
10.9 was from ticket sales. 9.3 was from royalties and sponsorships. 19.8 was from the Big 12 media rights deal. So money was coming in from other places. But again, bottom line, winning helps. And you can throw some money at some players at the early go to help push those deal forward. That's not that Utes ever don't sell out home games, but, do some funny things where you can add in some additional Crimson Club type options there. Some, player and meet and greet experiences, stuff like that. You'll start seeing more of that.
All that stuff makes money. Absolutely.
Yeah, just be prepared for those tickets to cost a little bit more next year, AJ.
They already do.
Love to see it. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. We're going to hit a couple of these real fast. That was the one that we just mentioned before. We got another one from Jonathan here. One Step Beyond Inc. Jonathan Brazier, president and GM of his own deal there. So good for you, Jonathan. Love it. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. What we have here again, folks, as a reminder, we did just start a channel specifically for your University of Utah Football Club. We have Utah Football DNA. This is a channel we specifically designed dedicated to all your Utah football content. All of our content for the Utes will be posted here first. So if you have not yet, make sure you check it out in the description down below. It's all of our content for the Utes will be posted there. And it's a dedicated channel for your Utah Utes. So be sure to check it out in the description down below. Smash that like button for your boy AJ. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of our Ute content.
Absolutely.
All right. With that said, let's go ahead and switch on over and talk a little bit about the Utah Jazz, shall we?
Let's do it.
Before we get into content, folks, we want to talk to you quickly about Utah Jazz DNA. This is a channel we developed specifically for your Utah Jazz. All of our Utah Jazz content will be posted here first. So if you have not yet, if you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, or you're catching us on the live stream or listening to the podcast after for our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, a link to the Utah Jazz DNA will be in the description down below. Make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you like Utes. Sorry, not the Utes. If you like the Utes, like it anyway.
Yeah. Subscribe to this one if you like the Utes. That's
yeah,
fine.
Exactly. Utah Jazz channel will be in the link description down below. We'll be giving away a Jazz jersey once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers. All right, man. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. When it comes to the University of Utah.
How about the Utah Jazz?
Either way. Let's talk about the Utah Jazz. Let's do that. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and jump into it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first things we want to talk about is Oklahoma City Thunder have made some comments. So here's my question, right? Like a little bit of a statement, and then I got a question for you. So
okay.
Oklahoma City went 22-50 in the 2021 season, 24-58 in the 22 season. They went 40-42 in the 22-23 season. These guys lost a lot of games. They traded stars. They picked up a ton of draft equity, and they positioned themselves as an up-and-coming franchise who turned into NBA champions last year. These guys are essentially the blueprint for tearing it down and building it back up.
Mm-hmm.
But tell me, Darren, why does this mean anything to us Utah Jazz fans?
Well, it feels like the Oklahoma City Thunder can dish it out, but they can't take it. It's kind of the thing that I'm picking up from this, AJ. We talked about this last week, right? We could not understand while everybody is up in arms about tanking. Now, tanking's been a problem in the NBA for years. We all know this. I'd say it's their second biggest problem that they've had
besides the All-Star game.
No. That's not even cracking the top five.
Oh,
not even clocking the top five. But what problems that the NBA has right now. But it's definitely the top two when it comes to tanking. But we couldn't figure out why everybody is picking on the Jazz. Like, why is it the Utah Jazz that everybody's talking about specifically?
Yeah.
And right at the time where we're going to be finishing out the last year we have to do this before we can actually turn around and start winning games again.
Playing, yeah.
Well, we have our answer, AJ.
Oh, yeah, we do.
We have our answer. So it was reported by Tony Jones of The Athletic over the weekend that the Oklahoma City Thunder has been using back channels, planting stories to pressure the NBA. And right before the All-Star break, by the way, because they know that Adam Silver's going to have to go up on the podium and talk about everything and address questions.
Yep.
They want to make sure the media was talking about this. The Oklahoma City Thunder wanted to make sure that they had to come out and make a strong statement against teams that are taking specifically the Utah Jazz for the rest of the season. Now, why does the Oklahoma City Thunder want the Jazz to turn around for the rest of the year?
Oh, pick me.
Go ahead, AJ. What do you have there?
I'd say it's probably because that number 8 protected pick that the Utah Jazz currently own, and if it falls beyond 8, the Oklahoma City Thunder get it.
Yeah, and as it sits right now, the Jazz are sitting at 6th as far as the worst team in the record. Now that just means that doesn't mean they're going to fall out of the draft, and hey, we might even get lucky, which is not how it works for the Jazz.
Yeah.
But we've never gone up in odds. We've only dropped. So as it sits right now, we have maybe about 30% odds of moving up or staying exactly where we're at. The rest of it is a chance that we're going to fall out. So as it sits right now, OKC wants the Jazz to win more games than they should to get that number 8 pick. Now, when it comes to this, man, the way it's been done, man, it's just really, really sleazy. Like this type of, to me, this is more damaging than tanking itself.
Oh yeah.
If other teams' front offices do this whole espionage type behind the scenes, cloak and dagger type stuff. I'm thinking like Watergate type, back channel type stuff that to hurt another team just to protect your own interests because of a bad trade you made 5 years ago. Like you thought it wasn't, the Jazz weren't going to be that good. So a top 8 protected pick, that's fine. The Jazz aren't going to be bad enough to where they're going to be qualifying for we've known about how stacked this draft's going to be for 4 or 5 years now.
Yep.
So when the Jazz made this trade, when it came to the Derek Favors trade, Oklahoma City kind of knew these types of players were already coming up, right? They knew this was going to be a decent draft, but the Jazz aren't going to be bad enough for that.
Yeah.
Right? You made a bad trade. And now what you're trying to do is you're trying to use back trials. You're trying to use your front office to sabotage another's team. You're trying to use your influence with ESPN and the commissioner themselves to hurt another franchise. Now, to me,
it's kind of disgusting.
It's really dirty, man.
Yeah.
It is really, really dirty, that type of play. And you really just, you hate to see it. You didn't make a good draft. You didn't make a good trade. And you already have, one of the top 3 draft picks available, and you just came off of a winning year. What do you need another top 9, 10 potential pick? Why do you need that? Well, I know why they need that, because they're going to start paying some of these players.
Yep, and they're going to have to move them.
They're going to have to move them. They're going to need to figure out a way to bring in another player that could, and having a 9, 10 lottery pick from the previous year in a loaded draft, that's
sure
worth
does
some money.
Yeah,
it's being worth a lot of money. But yeah, man, you suck it up and move on, man. You made a mistake, but no, they're going to do this. They're going to do this type of stuff to get that. So OKC is basically trying to force their way to control how to make the NBA do something that they really should not get involved in, which is telling Coach Hardy how to run his lineup.
Yeah.
It's not about just benching players anymore that you're potentially hurt, quote unquote hurt. The Jazz figured out a new way of doing it, which was still play your players, still let the people who wanted to come see, Larry Marketing, and Keontae George
gets to play for all 3 quarters.
You get to see them for 3 quarters. They're not sitting out the game. There's not some bogus injury. They're on the floor. But now because of this, Mr. Smith got smacked with a $500,000 fine because the NBA wants to control your lineup now, like and how you're using players. Like,
but where does this end though? Like really, where does it end if they're saying that you can't sit a player out? What if one of those players had said something to the coach and he was mad at him? What if they didn't play defense and he sat him because he was like, you know what, that was garbage?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what happened, but what if that was the case? The NBA is still going to start finding teams because apparently now the NBA is controlling what players you can have on the floor at what points. This has to stop.
Yeah, it absolutely has to stop. And it's the worst part is the Jazz are only one of the 3 teams. One of the only third of the teams in the NBA that are actively trying not to win games right now.
Yeah.
And the bad part is they find the Jazz $500,000 after paying them $100,000 last year. And they also, just to save face, they find the Pacers $100,000. The Pacers are like, hey, what the heck, man? This is a gap year for us. Why are we getting fined for this?
Yeah.
And it's because specifically goes back to the other scandal that's really hurting the NBA right now, which is the number one thing, which is gambling. Because of how much this is causing with the whole Chauncey Billups thing, and these players that are, being involved in the gambling scandals and tanking games and stuff like that and trying to play the over-unders. It's such a bad look for them, but they can't do anything about it because they're in the back pocket of these sports books. And yeah, if they don't know, if Larry Marketing starts and then you put the over-under on him on certain points, but he's not playing the 4th quarter at all,
take the under.
Yeah, exactly. To take the under.
Yeah.
And so that's what these sports bet books don't want to have happen. So they chirped, the OKC Thunder chirped. They're in Adam Silver's back pocket. So Adam Silver has to say something and has to make an example out of the Jazz, which to me just makes the OKC Thunder, which I actually looked up to as a model franchise on how to do this rebuild thing. Now I'm just absolutely disgusted with it.
Like I said, though, I mean, they were essentially the blueprint, right? This is how you want to rebuild your team. Gather your draft capital, make some good trades, have a good head coach. I mean, I think Billy Donovan's still the head coach at OKC.
Yeah.
Have a good head coach that can develop players, get you in a position, like make a good couple drafts, lose a couple years, and then you get yourself back to championship pedigree. They just won their first championship, which is fantastic. But I think you're right. I think the gambling probably has more to do with this. Could very much.
Well, I think they leveraged it.
I think they have just as much to do. Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
they use the gambling as a way to leverage it because, again, OKC doesn't care about the Thunder are going to come for their title this year. I mean, the Spurs are coming for them this year, man.
Oh yeah.
That, and there's some other teams that are doing well in the West too that are going to be able to threaten their opportunity here. But the only one they picked on, the only one they singled out was the Jazz, and that's because they wanted that pick.
Yep.
And it's so bad to see that a team's willing to do this, willing to create this kind of backdoor Watergate type issue just simply because they wanted number 9 or number 10th overall pick in this draft.
Yeah.
Really kind of gross. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. What's your take on this? Did you read up on this scandal? Did we miss anything when it comes to that? Is there any justification behind why OKC is doing this versus, not throwing it out under the Spurs or anybody else? We want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. We've got a few comments in the chat here we want to jump in. We've got McKinley. Personally, I don't think Sam Presti has much influence. I'm sticking with the gambling company theory because you would love to have that, because they would love to have that influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there, man. We definitely think it's part of it, but like I said, man, I think Sam Presti has enough. When you're the NBA champions and you're one of the marquee franchises in the NBA, and you have some people you can leak some stories to in the media.
Yeah.
If you can just go to and talk about, hey.
And I don't think you got to be super blatant about it, right?
No.
I think it's as easy as a conversation with Adam Silver that says, "Hey, you see what the Jazz are doing? Like you see how they're playing their players for 3 quarters and then sitting them out? That's the 3rd game in a row that Larry Markkinen, Jaren Jackson Jr., Keontae George, none of them have played at all in the 4th quarter. Like,
you don't even need to say that to Adam Silver. You just say that to ESPN. You say that to
that's a great point. You say that to anybody as the main guy for Oklahoma City, who, like you said, defending championships, and you got a little bit more pull, right? Like, you're one of the funnest teams in the NBA to watch.
No one's going to stand up for the Jazz, right? It's a small market team that's easy to pick on, and that story's going to get out there,
and they own your draft pick.
Yeah, and then you get their draft pick. It's the perfect time. It's the perfect way to try to influence it.
Yeah.
Adam Silver addressed this. Let's see here. Another McKinley comment here. Adam Silver addressed this. They will know it when they see it, so they don't need to explain why the fine it totally is subjective. Very fair point there, man. Like, they know it when they see it. Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it, so you don't have to actually define what is going on. But anyway, so we want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below in regards to that.
Yep.
Moving right along, man. So if we're going to we get to the point where this is what's happening, right, for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it, right? So we can't sit, guys, because everyone talks about it. Tanking is completely off the table from that point. We can't trade for players because, I mean, we've all seen the rumors about guys just refusing to come play here.
Mm-hmm.
So even though when players arrive, they rant and rave about how great of a place Utah is to play as far as the fans, the community, the environment that they get to play in. So if the draft is the only way for Utah to get talent, how are the Jazz supposed to develop young players when they're like on the brink of being ready, right? Like Keontae George, or like, how do we go about getting these players ready to compete for a championship if we can't do any of those things?
It's a fair point, man. It's a fair point. And the issue that we got to have is the Jazz have to figure out a different way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
And the problem that the Jazz had is just not trading Larry Markkinen. That was the problem.
Yeah.
The Jazz would have traded Larry Markkinen away a year ago, 2 years ago. We wouldn't be having this conversation.
Everyone would have recognized we were in full rebuild mode and asked 0 questions.
Yeah.
But the Jazz were hanging on to not full rebuild mode. They were holding on to, they got one little string they can still pull.
They're like, well, hang on, this is the player we want to keep here.
Yeah.
And we all know why. The Jazz don't have any business to get rid of a player that wants to be here and that's that talented.
Absolutely.
There's no reason you get rid of that guy.
Yep.
Loves it here, is on board with what the Jazz are doing, understands what we're trying to build here, and wants to be here. You move hell and high water to make sure that guy stays here.
And he's a unicorn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like realistically, he's a 7-footer that shoots a 3. He can score from mid-range. He can dunk it on your head. He plays like very serviceable defense. Like, Lauri Markkanen is a great player for the Jazz. He's valuable as they come, and he just continues to show his worth in every single game that he plays. He's still averaging over 20 points a game. He's become a great leader on the court. You can see the guys look up to him. When there's a big shot that needs to be made, you send it to Lauri.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how do the Jazz compete here, right?
Yeah.
So here's my thought. And this is something I've been sitting on for quite a while, AJ. And I don't know if it's kind of a roundabout way we're going to talk about this one because it's kind of not on the scheme of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But we have a situation where the Jazz aren't allowed to develop their young players, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we're holding on to somebody good, unless we really suck, if we're holding on to somebody good, we're not going to be allowed to develop young players. So obviously the option of training Lauri is not what we're going to be doing. But what we need to do is we need to leverage Lauri Markkanen in the future. So let's just say currently right now when the Jazz need to develop young players, we don't have the option. We still have the G League team. We don't have really the option to kind of develop these young players. We got to make sure that the young players we're bringing in already have the talent level to succeed in this league.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? You leverage the relationships you already have with the players. I hate to pivot when we're talking about Jazz basketball to pivot to another one of my favorite teams out there. But you got to kind of think about the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Okay.
How did they go to develop this juggernaut of the team that they are?
They started winning.
They started winning, true. But what was the key piece to that? What made them from being an automatic play out, with the exception of the 2020 World Series, being out in the first round or second round and actually being a real contender? There's one person's name that we're going to talk about later in this episode that made the change.
Yeah, people wanted to play with Shohei.
Shohei Ohtani, right?
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani opened the door for a lot of, Japanese
players,
Japanese players to come to the Dodgers to play.
The Dodgers, period. Yeah.
Exactly. The Utah Jazz kind of have a similar situation when it comes to Lauri Markkanen.
Do players want to play with Lauri Markkanen, though?
It's not about playing with Lauri Markkanen. It's about what Lauri Markkanen represents. This is a European player, a Northern European player from Finland that came to Utah. Absolutely loves it here. Absolutely loves the environment here.
Yeah.
Very similar to what they have in Northern Europe. A lot of snow, a lot of mountains, a lot of great terrain, a lot of similar type players.
We're the best players in the world from right now.
Exactly. And what else did the Utah Jazz do that put them in a better position for that type of recruiting?
I mean, they signed another All-Star.
No, before that. Let's stay with the European team here. Let's stay with the European angle. The Utah Mammoth.
Great point.
For the European talent, we
Yeah.
have a lot of European talent. We have a lot of Asian talent and a lot of players from like Russia and stuff like that. Players that want to come and play for the Utah Mammoth. We're already a destination for the NHL.
Yeah.
You leverage that relationship you have with your NHL players when they go back home. Like right now, we got teams playing all over, like Sweden. We have, players from Finland. We have other players from European countries playing in hockey, going home and talking and ranting and raving about how great it is to play in Utah. And you own the team that's talking about that.
Yeah.
Ryan Smith needs to leverage that relationship that he has with those hockey players to go back to those European teams and talk about these European talents that are playing in EuroLeague that could come to play for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to love it here. We already have a pre-established relationship with some European players within Utah, and those players are obviously overlooked. Obviously not overlooked because Jokic and Giannis and some of these other players from Europe are already in the league and they're already known, as great players. But a lot of these other players, think about those players that are going underneath the radar. Lauri Markkanen wasn't a huge star until he came to Utah.
Correct.
He's riding the bench for the Bulls until he traded him.
I mean, he was
not riding the bench, but he wasn't the star that he was.
He wasn't the star that he became in Utah. Absolutely.
No, so I think that is the play the Utah Jazz have to make.
And it's funny because I thought the Jazz were kind of turning the corner. Like when we got Jordan Clarkson and we started, like Jordan Clarkson he's like your not typical NBA player, right? He's like he's an offensive weapon. Like this guy's doing fashion shows, and he wanted to be in LA and he wanted to be in New York. And he came to Utah and he talked about how the culture was fantastic. And he talked about all the great things that the Jazz were doing as an NBA franchise. And I thought that was really helping the Jazz move the whole
narrative.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So it's like, I think we're making some progress here. But then we get bashed in the media for 4 or 5 days for doing something that, name me an NBA team that hasn't just gone through a tanking scheme.
Oh yeah, it just was released today. The top 10 franchises, front office ran franchises in the NBA is released today. The Jazz are number 8, by the way.
Yeah.
2 days after they're getting fined $500,000 for doing what they're doing, the NBA still puts this out as one of the top 10 well-run franchises in the NBA.
Absolutely.
By the way, the other 8 ahead of us all went through a rebuild in the last 15 years. Went tanking.
Yeah. I mean, are you going to say, because you think of the biggest franchises in basketball, the Lakers just went through it a few years ago, right before they got LeBron. They went through one. The Celtics just went one before they got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Danny Ainge team.
Yeah. I mean,
the Spurs 3 times in the last 30 years.
I mean, the Spurs, like you name it, everybody's done it.
Yeah. It's really,
and you never saw the media bashing any of these teams. They understood what was happening. They understood this is what you have to do to get draft picks. They understand you have to play bad players, and you just deal with it.
It wasn't until OKC wanted the pick, man. That's all it was.
Yep.
We got a comment here from Triple J Jazz Force, a super chat from Triple J Jazz Forge with a $2 super chat. Super appreciated, man. Thank you very much for that. Kamish thinks the Jazz are the LA Draft Dodgers. I love that, dude. That was a great play on words there. I like that. I didn't see that until I read it on the screen right there. So absolutely love it. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the super chat. Love the support. Appreciate it. But yeah, man, to the point, man, I think that's really the way the Jazz got to do it. It was understood by Kevin O'Connor, Dennis Lindsay. They used to bring in, do you remember the Rocky Mountain Review where they bring in hundreds of players that just weren't going to be part of the draft and just kind of play and, worked them out to see if they're going to be worth it. We brought in Wes Matthews, who was undrafted, and brought him into a player. And then second year in the NBA, he was making more money than anybody in his draft class.
Yeah.
Because of that toxic offer that the Portland Trailblazers gave him.
And they just threw piles of money at him, hoping the Jazz would match it.
Yeah. Well, no, they did that to us the year before with Bill Millsap, and we did match.
Yeah. So they tried it again.
Yeah. So they tried again. So that's kind of just how we couldn't hold on to him. And unfortunately, he did get injured, and that kind of ruined his career after that. But he still had a pretty good career. But these front office folks understood that that's how the Jazz needed to do it, right? And so without doing this tanking thing, and that's why the Jazz were always to be able to bring in talented players, so the Jazz never had to really go into a full rebuild mode. Still could be a competitive team, still go into the playoffs, but we're able to reload. I think if you take that and just shift it a little bit and focus into more of the type of players that want to be here, which is European players.
Yeah.
That you already have a destination city in another franchise that you own that can do some recruiting for you.
Yeah. Building kind of a pipeline.
Why not take advantage of that?
Yeah.
So that's just kind of my idea.
I love it, dude.
We want to know from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. What do you think about the opportunity for the Utah Jazz? Since we're not allowed to play our developing players in meaningful minutes, what are your thoughts on how the Jazz can develop this team going further? We'd love to hear from you.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about the next segment here. We want to keep it rolling with the Utah Jazz, man. And when it comes to this, we both wanted to pick a player that we decided, hey, let's talk about a player that can benefit from these fourth quarter minutes, because the Jazz aren't going to stop doing this. If this happens again, they're just going to take another fine. We're going to roll with it. Maybe I put Larry Marketing out there for 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and it's all good. And then, but we're going to see these players. Who's going to be able to get these meaningful minutes? We each want to take a player and kind of go from that. Who'd you pick and why?
So I think the player that benefits most, one of the players that benefits most from these fourth quarter minutes is going to be Bryce Sensabaugh.
Ooh, the guy who basically is the reason why we had the argument for why it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who made the shot. I like it. I like it.
Absolutely. So
run your line.
So you look at his stats from last season to this season, and he's playing almost 22 minutes per night. And he's taking about the same amount of threes, but his efficiency has kind of dropped from 42% to roughly 35%. But his 2-point percentages have climbed. They've went from 52 to 57. So he's taken more free throws, and he's shooting roughly 85% from the line. So I think these late minutes are super important, because the only thing keeping him off the floor right now is his defense, right? Like, that's the only reason he's not out there. So, and I'm not saying that every player that's as offensively talented as Bryce Sensabaugh has to be a lockdown defender, because that's just not the case, right?
Not in this NBA.
Exactly. And And Donovan Mitchell is a prime suspect for that. We talked about it last week. He came into the NBA and his big thing was he's going to be a massive defensive player. He comes out, he ends up being just this offensive.
Doesn't play a lick of defense for the rest of his career.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what I'm saying is that's not the case. But Bryce needs to learn how to put himself in positions to help the team on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
And it's all about effort. I mean, Bryce Sensabaugh has great size. He's 6'6", 235. He's still young, 22 years old. And if he can just take his effort up in some of these fourth quarter minutes and really get productive, help in that plus minus, because it should show in the plus minus right away. When Bryce is on the floor, the team gets better. But his defensive effort lacks so much that his plus minus just always looks right above zero. You know what I mean? It's like he's not necessarily helping.
He was drafted the year after Keontae George, right?
Same year.
Was it the same year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, same year.
Okay.
No.
Okay, go ahead. I thought it was the year after, but I could be wrong.
No, it was the year after. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was in the same draft class as Cody Williams, so it was the
Okay.
next year. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So if he can get this effort up on the defensive side of the ball, these minutes are going to be really key to him, and like filling that first man off the bench role player that the Jazz need. We've got some
JC
great
role.
young players. Exactly. We need JC. But the thing is I feel like JC played better defense than Sensabaugh does in a lot of these scenarios. Like, not known for his defensive prowess, but JC took it personal when people said that he wasn't a great defensive player. And in the playoffs, JC came out and played some great defense. We had some great defensive minutes. He's obviously a flamethrower for the reason. He can get buckets at any time. And Bryce Sensabaugh is capable of doing that same type of thing.
Yeah, he definitely has the measurements to be great defensively.
Yep.
And one thing I really want to point out about Bryce Sensabaugh, and this is something we're going to hit on a little bit more when we do a highlight for Keontae, but Coach Will Hardy's really opened up the mid-range game for these players.
Yeah.
Which it used to be for the longest time, which I think made basketball ultra boring to watch, is either a three or it was at the basket, and didn't really put a lot of options for the mid-range game.
And that was the Quinn Snyder theory. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really kind of down. It's not just at Quinn Snyder; it's a league-wide thing.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, the two most efficient ways of getting a basket, and so I'm really glad to see that kind of opened up. The reason why I ask about whether or not he was drafted the same year is maybe what Coach Hardy needs to do this year with Bryce is what he did last year with Keontae, which is going into the end of the year, locker room clean out, saying, hey, look, we think you can be great. This is a role you have on this team. You're going to be the first man off the bench. You're going to be the six-man year candidate for our team. We need you to step up on defense.
Yeah.
Put in the effort, stick around in Utah, and then you're in the offseason.
Yeah, commit to playing here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we see what we can do. And I think that that's exactly what could happen for this player. Because, like, you're right, dude. It's all there.
Yeah.
It's not like he's 6'2". You know, this guy has the size. He has the athletic ability to play defense. It's just effort, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love it. Absolutely love the idea.
Yeah. So who do you got?
Choice. I actually have a player you mentioned already. His name was Cody Williams.
Dude, I love this. Yeah, absolutely love this. Because Cody Williams is just, there's just so much potential. Let's hear it.
He was a guy you picked the Jazz were going to draft.
I did. I selected that. That's on the internet too. Check it out.
Yeah. Can't argue that. It's back. We got receipts. Scroll down.
So many receipts.
After we finish this one, though.
Yeah.
After you finish this one. But yeah, I got Cody Williams, man. Year over year, you're seeing from this young player what you need to see. And he's doing it quietly, by the way.
Yep.
He's not exactly, jumping off the page stat-wise. He was kind of thrown in a position he shouldn't have been thrown in because of the Hendricks injury last year, which I think hurt him a little bit.
Oh, it did.
It hurt him development-wise. He shouldn't have had the minutes that he had. And when he's having the minutes that he should have had last year, this year, you're seeing improvements. So we're seeing a drop in minutes from last year to this year because of our boy Ace Bailey taking away some of those minutes and some of those key parts that he should be, that you wouldn't seen a normal bump in this year. But what we're seeing here is his field goal percentage is up over 155 points from last year. He went from a field goal percentage of 323 to now 485 is what he has now, which on the same level as attempts as last year, AJ. So it's not like his usage has gone down. His attempts, his same shot attempts are there.
He's just becoming more efficient.
He's becoming more efficient, making better shot selections for this team. He's no longer just pulling up a wild three with the last 2 seconds on the shot clock in the corner and trying to make it, right?
Yeah.
He's being more efficient with his time. He's picking his shots better. Everything from attempts, offensive rebounds, are up over half a board from last year. Blocks are up. Steals are up. His fouls are down. All this with the trading of Hendricks has really kind of put him in a position to where we know that this team is going to need this kid.
Oh, yeah.
We got rid of Hendricks. He was supposed to be the player that Cody Williams wasn't going to be.
Yep.
Right? Now he's in that slot where he needs to be that guy.
Yep.
He needs to be that backup 4 or 3, depending on how big they want to go, depending on what they do with Filipowski, which is a whole nother conversation.
Whole nother one for a different day.
But in order for him to be the key piece of rotation on a team that's competing, we need to see this type of development from him. And honestly, the only way you're going to do that is going to put him in a position where the minutes matter. This isn't like garbage time in the second quarter when you're being blown out or you're blowing somebody out, right? He needs to be in there in the fourth quarter, having those offensive plays
when the game's on the line. Yeah.
When the game is on the line. And, I think you only bench players, that you don't think are going to be in the role. But I think the fact that the way Hardy is using him in this particular year and this particular offensive set and how he's being used in the fourth quarter is not only telling you that the Jazz think highly of him, but coach thinks highly of him. And I know you think highly of him, right?
Absolutely.
Who's your pick for the draft? To the point where I think he's going to be the right solution for this team going forward and being that first big off the bench for this team. And that's why he needs those fourth quarter minutes.
I totally agree. I think Cody's done a really good job. He's shown up defensively this year. Like he kind of started becoming exactly what this team needed. You know what I mean? Like I was really worried because with his size, his size and athleticism, you expect him to be sneaky good on defense, right? Like great at pressuring the ball, maybe get some block shots here and there. Like that's what you expect from a player that size. But he wasn't that when he first came in. Like he seemed lost. He always seemed like the game was just moving way faster than he was ready for. And this season he's come out and just really shown that he's ready to play.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited. And I think you nailed it. He needs some of these minutes to really push him over the edge, to prove to himself that he's NBA ready and go out there and compete with players, because that's the best part of like these last 3 games, the ones that we got fined for, these weren't garbage minutes.
No.
Like those were NBA players out there. I mean, the game with the Heat, Bam Adebayo played that whole game.
Yeah, he even said at the end, we got to win games against teams that don't want to win. So that shows you how frustrated they were. They were trying to win that game. They weren't able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He put on the weight over the years. He put on over the summer. He put on an extra, 15, 20 pounds of solid muscle.
And looked good.
Yeah, and he's put in a lot of effort to maintain that. Obviously, you're going to lose some of that because you can't eat as much as you need to in an NBA season.
Yeah, absolutely.
So no matter how many, what do they call them? What do they call them? Oh gosh, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. The NBA are famous for. But anyway, they call them something else. But yeah, absolutely love to see it, man. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below when it comes to either Bryce Sensabaugh or Cody Williams. Do you have another player that you think the Jazz should be focusing on and giving those fourth quarter minutes to? We'd love to hear from you on your thoughts on that in the comments down below. As a reminder, folks, we did start a channel specifically for you, Utah Jazz, called Utah Jazz DNA. All of our Jazz content will be posted here first. So if you're watching this in our live stream, first of all, welcome. Thanks for joining us. We're here every Wednesday at 7:30.
7:30.
Be sure to join us. If you're listening to this on our podcast on audio, be sure to check out in the description Utah Jazz DNA. It's a channel dedicated for all your Utah Jazz content. It'll be in the description down below.
Check it out on YouTube.
Yep, we'll be giving away a jersey once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers. All right, man. Let's go ahead and pivot on and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, man. Pitchers and catchers are reporting, my friend. We are seeing people in spring training, and we want to talk about the injuries, but we're going to put that off for another week, just simply because, well, you know what? There's something else we want to talk about.
Yes. So the burning question that I have for you, Darren, is, well, let me preface this a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
So Cy Young winners from last year pitched. So Skubal pitched 31 games for the American League. Skeens pitched 32 games. Skubal's ERA last season was 2.21 in 195 innings. Skeens' ERA was 1.97 in 187 innings. Shohei Ohtani is the best baseball player in the world. He's the 4-time MVP. He's the 4-time Silver Slugger. He's the 2018 Rookie of the Year, 2-time World Series champion. Oh, and he's won an NLCS MVP. The only award currently missing from that ridiculous list is Cy Young. So, can Shohei Ohtani win a Cy Young? And also, okay. As a Dodgers fan, do you want him to win a Cy Young?
That's a great question. And what's really funny about that is this actually did come up recently. Shohei Ohtani was asked in the press about what he's looking forward to in his time with the Dodgers. He's already, and Cy Young was what he mentioned. We can fix that, by the way. Can't figure out how to get that over on the laptop screen over there. You can scroll us over. Thank you. Could not get that right. But yeah, great question, man. So yeah, as a Dodgers fan, should he win? Yeah. I mean, you obviously want your pitchers to win Cy Youngs, and as a Dodgers fan, we are known as a pitching franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a while since the Dodgers had a Cy Young winner. Do you remember the last one?
Clayton Kershaw.
There you go. Good job. 2-time Cy Young winner. Was the last one to win the Cy Young and the MVP in the same year, by the way. Yeah, dude. I mean, can he do it? Yeah, absolutely he can. When people think of Shohei Ohtani and we think of how good he is as a player, you just mentioned all the accolades there. He is arguably still the most talented pitcher on the Dodgers rotation. And think about what I just said there, the Dodgers rotation.
Yeah.
You have Yamamoto, who is easily one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
There's only a few pitchers that could go out and do what he did last year. There's only one in recent memory that did do that. That's Madison Bumgarner, who did win a Cy Young. It's really insane. But when you look at Shohei Ohtani, you mentioned all the accolades, you mentioned all the awards. Let's talk about the last time he was really good as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Right. This is in 2022, his last healthy season as a pitcher with the Angels. A lot of people don't watch Angels baseball, so can't blame you there that you don't really remember this. But he did start in 28 games, had a sub-3 ERA with a 2.33 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
He finished in 4th in Cy Young that year, by the way.
Yep.
So he was 4th, and so he was in consideration. Last year, he only pitched in 14 games with inning restrictions in each one of those because, again, he is coming off his second Tommy John surgery.
Which is?
Second elbow surgery. Not technically Tommy John, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Ask Walker Buehler how easy it is to come back from 2 Tommy Johns, which, by the way, he joined the Evil Empire, by the way. He signed with the Padres.
How could he?
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I guess you take whatever contract gets offered to you. But, yeah. So in 14 innings, 14 appearances with limiting restrictions last year, he was showing that he's already back to his 2022 form with a sub-3 ERA in 14 games. Here's the key piece. His Ks per 9 in 2022 and in 2025 were exactly the same, 11.9 K per 9, which is his career best.
Right.
So,
yep, that 22 season was his best one. So I guess my question, though. Oh, sorry. Are you still running some of this? Okay. Because my question here is, Ohtani being as valuable as he is, do you want him throwing 190 innings? Because when you go back and you look at the 2 Cy Young winners from last year,
mm-hmm.
Skubal threw 195 and Skeens threw 187. That puts you right at that 190 inning mark, roughly. Do you want Shohei Ohtani throwing in 40 games? Or sorry.
Yeah, 40 starts, probably.
30. Those guys both threw in roughly 30 games. So do you want Ohtani starting in 30 games and throwing 190 innings?
Why not?
I'm asking that question. I wonder if that's too much asking for a guy that is so valuable to the Dodgers. Like, you know what I mean? I guess that's what I'm thinking.
Let's look at it a few different ways. Let's look at it from the financial standpoint first. Let's check that box. We signed into a $700 million contract.
Yeah.
Who's on the team for 10 years, right? To think that he's not going to go those 10 years without some time on the
absolutely
IL,
yeah,
that's pretty absurd to think about, right? But he already came back and pitched in 14 games last year, basically pitched half a season last year.
Correct. Yeah.
And did very, very well.
Yeah.
And we don't know with this new brace surgery if it's like a second TJ. Lucas Giolito, he has 2 TJs and he's performing well. Still a Cy Young potential.
Still throwing the ball well, yeah.
Yeah, so it could just be, but you got to think about it. You can't not do it, man. You can't not try because people just forget how good of a pitcher this guy really
Yeah.
is. When I say he's the most talented pitcher on the Dodgers, I'm not joking. Like, you have Yamamoto, you have Blake Snell, you have Tyler Glass now. Not to mention, you had Clayton Kershaw last year. You even have some pitchers that are, coming up that could be really, really good as well. Actually, I think I'm forgetting a starter off the top of my head. But when it comes to what he has, this guy's got 5 elite pitches with movement for the Dodgers. He has a 4-seamer that he can throw triple digits. He can throw 100 miles an hour. He has a 98 mile per hour sinker and a 48 mile per hour sweeper. Those 3 pitches right there makes him elite on any other staff. Like, just having a 3-pitch mix where you're in the top, 5 percentile in movement and in velocity makes you already elite. I didn't even mention the fact that he has a wicked slider and he was throwing that splitter last year, almost as good as Roki Sasaki did in the playoffs.
And you think Roki showed it to him?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, well, there's a lot of people throwing splitters last year, and I think he realized, I should develop that splitty.
Yeah.
And really kind of put it in my rotation. Not to mention, he also threw a curveball, which is 20-plus mile an hour slower than his fastball. He threw it like 30 times in spots that you wouldn't throw a curveball normally. Even for a Japanese pitcher, which they always play things backwards. That in Major League Baseball, you set up the off-speed pitch and in Japan you set up the fastball. It's kind of different how it works. It's really kind of interesting. But even in situations like that, you wouldn't throw a curveball. He's throwing it, right? So technically, that's 6 pitches,
Yeah.
that are all in elite pitches for this man. Who, the fact that he didn't hit 50 home runs and still 70 bags. Still 50 bags that he wouldn't be, because he's an MVP offensively, you wouldn't say in any way, shape, or form that this guy should not be on the mound. But he should be on the mound literally because of how good of a pitcher he is.
Right.
He hasn't had the opportunity to really showcase it, especially even as a Dodger. But absolutely, 100% yes, 1,000% yes. This guy should get a chance to pitch. And if it ends up being something that hurts him down the road, well, then you're just making that decision on whether or not you should be a pitcher or a hitter a little earlier than you're expecting to. But you at least got to give it a shot. He rehabbed for a whole year. He had a whole year of off-season work to try and get to the point where he is now. And his velo, AJ, is back to...
It's right there.
It's right, already in spring. It's already at 2022 form. So...
Terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. So do I think you should get it? Do I think you should give a shot to try it? Absolutely. I do think you should get a shot to try it.
Can he win it?
Oh, yeah. It's really kind of tough when you got somebody like Yamamoto who's equally deserving of a Cy Young.
Yeah, absolutely. For the same team.
For the same team. And you have Blake
Yeah.
Snell on this roster, by the way, who's already won 2 Cy Youngs.
Yeah.
He's going to be losing votes to some of his other players, but, it wouldn't be the first time a Dodger stole a Cy Young from another Dodger, which happened to Zach Greinke.
What a problem to have, huh?
Yeah. I don't know, man. What do you think?
No, I think it's great. I mean, from a Dodgers perspective, I think you have to go out there and put Shohei in every situation that he wants to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Because realistically, Shohei being happy and performing at the highest level in every single game, I think Shohei goes out there and looks forward to his pitch every 6-7 days, to his outing on the mound. Yeah, he gets to play in every single game, but this guy, you can see on his face that he loves the game of baseball.
Yeah, he always considers himself a pitcher who can hit more than a hitter that can pitch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think you have to go out there and put him in these situations and let him pitch like you said, and like everybody knows, he's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He has a chance to win a Cy Young. I think he can throw in 31 games this year pretty easily. I don't think 190 innings pitched is super unrealistic. I mean, yeah, Skubal and Skeens can do it, and they don't play in every single game, but I there's no way Shohei couldn't do that.
No, absolutely none. And, if you were to get pay a player $700 million, let's say the Braves signed a player to $700 million, right? And in the first 2 years that you had that player, you won 2 World Series, and you already made...
Back-to-back?
Yes, and you already made off of him more than $1 billion.
Yeah.
You'd be okay with him throwing it out there and letting it eat, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't see... There's no reason why you wouldn't. I don't know. We'd love to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Please jump in and let us know what your thoughts are. Do you think Shohei Ohtani has a chance to win the Cy Young this year? Or do you think as long as Paul Skeens around and is healthy that there's no shot for anybody else to win it? We want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. All right, let's go ahead and talk a few other things here we want to hit on baseball real quick before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Luke Weaver did.
Baggate.
Oh my gosh, this is the unthinkable. You can't do this in baseball, man. Just ban the guy right now. Pete Rosa, man.
Shut him down.
No chance he could be in the Hall of Fame.
Shut him
like
down.
That. He's
Absolutely.
done. He's
Baggate is in full force.
What happened, man?
Poor Luke Weaver, man. So Luke Weaver reports, obviously, pitchers, catchers reported, and Mr. Luke Weaver reports to Mets training facility with his Yankees equipment bag.
What's the problem? It says NY on it. It's the same, right? Same
Yeah.
thing.
So, I mean, this incident occurred at the Mets facility in Port St. Lucie in Florida. And obviously, Weaver was a part of the Yankees from 23 to 24. And, I mean, this caused some outrage, man. I mean, fans were upset, talking about it, saying how could he do this? But this is absolutely just crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
this is the dumbest story that's not a story, man. Like, honestly, like I understand, like, you know, okay, first of all, I would love to applaud the Mets on making it like 3 years in a row now where they've stolen players from the Yankees.
yeah.
You know, and put them on their squad, which, by the way, hasn't gone so well for the Mets so far. I mean, they basically pulled the Padres, got Juan Soto, one of the greatest hitters of all time, and immediately didn't make the playoffs the next year, which is not a good look.
Not at all.
Yeah, but they also stole Devin Williams, and now they've taken Luke Weaver as well as a pitcher for their team. I understand the outrage because, you know, when you're in New York, there's a battle of the New York teams there, and you don't want your new player to be wearing a Yankees bag there. But, dude, you didn't want this to happen. If the Mets didn't care, if the Mets cared, they would have sent him a bag.
Yeah.
Right? But you know what happened? This guy showed up to spring training, took all of his stuff out of his Yankee bag and put it into a Mets bag, and then packed the bag, sent it home, gave it away to a clubby, something, you know. He's going to be wearing a Mets bag. He's going to have a Mets bag going forward, right?
Did you see what he said to the media?
No.
I'm a Met now.
What difference does it make?
The bag has zero meaning. He's happy to be with the team. Hopes to win championships. And realistically, you know the best way all this goes away? Just go out there and pitch good, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mets fans will be plenty happy.
It's just
Like,
the LOL Mets, man. It's great.
And you're in a bullpen that's already going to face a bunch of pressure after you lose Edwin Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just go out there and pitch good.
Yeah.
You'll be all right. Yeah.
He'll be all right.
Kind of a funny
It's
story.
the
though.
Mets media, man. It's
Yeah.
just the New York media and
just
together.
Just spin it up.
Like,
Get it in the news.
yeah.
Put articles out everywhere.
You got to put something.
Let's talk about the Mets.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. You got to love it, man. It's hilarious. We got one more thing we want to talk about here, which is actually the Emmanuel Class A update here. There's been more information on this. Do you want to break this one down for us?
Yeah. So, Emmanuel Class A is he's the pitcher that was obviously federally indicted for, what was the exact charge? Colluding with sports bettors to rig prop bets. That's pretty much what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, his charges were including wire fraud conspiracy to influence sporting contests. Keep in mind, this is gamblers on his bets allegedly won $460,000 on 100 plus in-game bets. So this guy had put it together.
Yeah.
You know, this was a pretty extensive plan. And I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, how much money did he make?
Yeah, he made what, 27,000?
Yeah, not a whole lot for players making millions of dollars as a relief pitcher.
Yeah, $27,000.
He was on like a $50 million. I think he was making like $10 million a year or something like that, and he made less than what 10 grand? How much?
Yeah, 27,000.
27,000
Yeah.
over. Yeah. So here's the thing. Basically, what he was doing is he was throwing pitches in the beginning of a game. Like he would say, and this is the funniest part, he used a crime to cover a crime.
Yeah.
Which makes absolutely no sense. He used chicken fights as a way to cover illegal pitches in gambling.
Now, keep in mind, anybody watching, chicken fights are also illegal.
Yeah.
You can't fight chickens or roosters. Like, you can't fight birds against each other. Also illegal.
Yes. He would say, he would get a text message saying, hey, throw a rock at the first rooster, which was a comment saying, throw a ball at the first batter you see when you come in. right? And the thing about this is that it gets way worse, man. Now there's also another starting pitcher for the same team, Ortiz. He was also wrapped up in this as a starter. He was brought in last summer because the problem is you don't know if you're going to pitch in that game. So if it's going to be coming rigging pitches, if you're the closer, you don't know if your team's going to be up when you're brought in.
Yeah, for all you know, you might not be. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, they had to figure out a way they could do this and keep the scheme going. So they brought in another pitcher. That's basically what Ortiz is saying, and his defense is saying is that he was kind of a victim in all this. He was forced into this. He was a guy playing on the minimum, and Emmanuel Clase is kind of the big swinging, in the bullpen. So he had to do what he said, right?
Yeah, and Ortiz even went to the point to say he wants a separate trial, and his lawyers even claimed that he only threw 2 questionable pitches.
So you're admitting to it already, and you just said not guilty. You just pleaded not guilty, dude. Yeah. And you're admitting to it already. This is who's representing these people.
He said Clase only misled him for baseball reasons, but Ortiz pretty much saying that he was the victim in this situation. That he was just there,
right? But he only intentionally missed through 2 pitches. When you just pleaded not guilty, that's kind of a problem. You admit to the crime that you did while pleading not guilty, which is not smart.
Not a good idea. No.
But yeah, and also it's not smart to use a crime to cover up a crime. So yeah, rule number 1, never write down your crimes. 2, do not use a crime to code another crime. 3, the real update to this is that we now know that he did it in a playoff game. So
that's big money.
That is a problem. And some people would say, what's the big deal? Or Class A supporters will say, what's the big deal? He just threw a first pitch ball so his boys can make a little bit of money. No big deal, right? Well, when you're starting to do that, how far away is it before you start doing things that are a little bit more high stakes?
And I think the biggest concern is like, where's your integrity for the game?
Yeah.
And how far off center do you get before your integrity's just gone?
Emmanuel Clase was the best closer in baseball.
Yeah.
Best closer in baseball. He just sidestepped for less than $25,000, the chance to become the highest paid reliever in Major League Baseball history. All because he wanted to win a couple prop bets and hook up his boys. Or however it's going to go. We don't really know the origin of the relationship, but yeah, he sidestepped that for this.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if integrity is really the question you should be asking.
That one's pretty obvious at this point.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And even the sense that it does makes absolutely no sense when you add the other context in. Yeah, which is really unfortunate. So when we see the fact that playoff baseball, they're throwing pitches and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not like as bad as like the NBA where they're shaving points on trying to get the over and under. But to know that pitches are being affected in playoff games for these prop bets and stuff like that makes it really kind of scary. We got a comment from friend of the channel, Tammy Price, jumping in here. It's not smart to throw away a promising career. Absolutely.
That's the key there, Tammy.
Yeah, one of the best that could have been the best, man.
Yeah.
And he just gave it away. I mean, people wonder why Pete Rose shouldn't be in the Hall
This
of
is
Fame.
almost as bad as bringing a Yankees bag to a Mets practice.
That is almost that bad.
Yeah.
Almost that bad. With that note there, folks, this has been an episode of the DNA Sports Recap. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below on anything we talked about today. Let us know what your thoughts are. We want to hear from you. As a reminder, folks, we did hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. We are still giving away the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue back to y'all. So if you have not yet, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway, and smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there.
Absolutely. And if you're watching on YouTube on one of our short videos, just know this is available in its entirety on a podcast, wherever you get your audio.
With all that said, my name is Darren, that is AJ, and this has been an episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.